Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Action Movie Guys podcast, episode 447. We're up to the last film in the RoboCop franchise for the Alex Murphy timeline, right? 1, 2, and 3.
We'll call it the original trilogy.
The original trilogy. Yes, the final film in the original trilogy. This is RoboCop 3 from 1993. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa. My co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
All right, Nate, look, I know we both didn't see this movie. This is our first time watching this movie. Let's just get into financials because I know we want to talk about this movie. So let's get into some financials. This movie was budgeted at $22 million. Financially, it only grossed $10 million. Are you shocked?
What the heck?
It flopped bad.
Okay. Yeah, no. Am I surprised? No. If that was the question, I'm not surprised now that I've seen it. I think if you would have asked me before I saw it, maybe. After I saw it, no. Now, I did watch, and we talked off air a little bit, and we've talked in the past. I don't really watch special features on disc. However, did you rent this movie?
No, I brought the Shout Factory.
Okay. So I had the same disc. I watched like maybe 15 minutes of the making of documentary on here. And before I give the Rotten Tomatoes score, your boy directed it, Fred Decker. He talked about it, Night of the Creeps. He directed Night of the Creeps. That's why he's your boy, because he directed Night of the Creeps. I know you like that movie. He directed a movie I like called Monster Squad. So he's done a movie each of us like a lot. However, neither of them were big hits when they came out. His career got sort of resurrected because Robert Zemeckis tapped him for some Tales of the Crypt episodes that they enjoyed. And he also wrote with Shane Black. They were like, they're friends and they wrote movies together. Anyway, I'm saying all this because we did RoboCop 2. That was written by Frank Miller, if you remember, and directed by Irvin Kershner, director of freaking Empire Strikes Back and RoboCop 2. So this time, Frank Miller came back and they asked if Shane Black and Fred Decker wanted to write RoboCop 3. And Shane Black said no. He didn't want to do it because he was working on another movie. And Fred Decker said, I can't write without him. So basically what they did was they took a script by Frank Miller, who wrote 2, and then Decker just like rewrote stuff. So this is I'm saying all that to say this movie's a hodgepodge of like people's ideas. And I like some of the stuff, and I'll go into it when we're going through the movie, the review. But I like some of the stuff he said. I like that making of. He was very fair. Like, you know, sometimes you watch those and they're like, it was the greatest experience of my life. And it was like, I'm so proud of this movie. Yeah. I feel like he was very honest with a lot of things and I appreciated watching it. So we're going to talk about it, but let me give you some Rotten Tomatoes scores because these are horrible. Now, RoboCop 2 had a huge gap, if you remember, from 1 to 2. The gaps are smaller, but the numbers are tiny here. So this only had a 19% drop in the critics, but that took it all the way down to a 9%. So this has a 9% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score was a bigger drop at 22%. So it went down 22%, and that took it a 15%. So a 9 and a 15, horrible numbers. Very bad.
I want to know the 15 people that gave it positive.
Yeah, who likes this movie? That's what I want to know too. Well, listen, it must have some audience. If Scream Factory put out a collector's edition, but I have a theory, which we'll get to, but I want to know who in 2025 likes RoboCop 3. And maybe this is a spoiler for our review, but I don't care. I need to know who. Who are you? Show yourself.
Honestly, show yourself. Reveal yourself to us.
Reveal yourself, you coward.
You coward. No, I agree. I mean, it's a very shocking. When you look at these, like, 9, I get. Okay, great.
9, no, 1 digit, a single digit. That's horrible.
I get it. 15 to me is like shocker. I'm like, oh man, really? I thought this thing was going to be lower, like in a 5 bracket for the audience. But I guess
the fact that you just said 15 is shocking because it's high lets you know about this. The first one had a 92 critic score. That means this has an 83% drop from the first movie. 83% drop. I don't know if there's one bigger that we've ever done. I'm not gonna lie. From 1 to 3, 83%.
No, there has never been a drop like that. Now, I will say we got to get into the review now. All right. So look, lead character Peter Weller's not back as Alex Murphy / Robo. Okay.
He's not. This ugly guy is in
Lois is back. The original actress is back. Lois.
Nancy Allen.
Yeah, she's back. And a lot of OCP people are back. The news anchors are back. Right? The media guys.
And the police chief?
The police chief is back. Yes. Go ahead, take it away. What do you think?
No. All right. So this is RoboCop is played by Robert Burke in this movie.
Robert Burke.
Okay. And I'm being serious. Okay. I gave it a 1. And I'm going to tell you why. RoboCop, you correct me if I'm wrong. You watched this movie as well. He doesn't show up until it feels like 20 minutes into the movie. You don't even see RoboCop. You're like going around in Detroit, which by the way, none of these movies are filmed in Detroit. The first one was filmed in Dallas. The second one was filmed in Houston. And this one was filmed in Atlanta. So you're going around Detroit and you're with this little kid and CCH Pounder from your movie that was Psycho, one of them, 4 or whatever. She's in there, and with I'll save it for villains. Anyway, you're going around. You know RoboCop. Where is he? I don't know. Where's RoboCop? And so just off of that, it all of a sudden felt like this is not even a RoboCop movie. He plays a side character in a movie about him, and for me, that's like an automatic, it lowers the score to maybe a 2 to start. But then this is the worst version of him. In every way. He's ugly. The guy doesn't look like Peter Weller. His voice is horrible. He doesn't sound like him. He sounds wimpy compared to Peter Weller had a great voice. Dead or alive, you're coming with me, or stop it, creep. But when this guy says it, it's not. It's stop, creep. It's not as good. And they abandon all this. There's parts where he's remembering his wife and kid and stuff, but at this point, he's a toy, honestly. RoboCop is a toy. He has a jetpack. Terrible. I gave him a 1. This is easily the worst version of him that's ever been on screen.
Well, you said everything. I totally agree. He doesn't come. Look, when they introduce him back on, his car is totally tinted out. Even the windshield is tinted out.
That's right.
Even me and my wife was watching, and she again got up and left. She was like, I can't watch this. This is really bad. So I was like, oh man, I gotta watch this alone again. When they introduce the character, the cops are getting chased, and all their cars are non-tinted. But then when RoboCop comes, car is all limousine tint black, you can't see in it. And they're like, man, this cop, there's something different about this cop, man. And they're driving. And I was like, oh, he goes, the corny ass 90s dialogue is kicking in. When he shoots out of the freaking ceiling and comes out like he's about to sing a song, I said, I'm done. It looked horrible. His introduction was horrible. You're absolutely right. His voice sounded so freaking off, was not even funny. He looked like RoboCop, and I can see why they hired him, because from the mask, he doesn't look like Peter Weller. Mm-hmm. He does. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But when they removed the damn mask, he looked like someone drove over his face.
He looked like a drawing of Peter Weller.
He does. Yes. He like one of Jay's drawings. You know how he mimics a cover?
His crayon
cover. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah. Yes. That's what it looked like. And it's just one of those things that I just shake my head at. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just done. I couldn't. And he was horrible.
Now, recastings happen, but this was a bad one.
I agree. Now, Lois, she was good, but another introduction that was so cornball. Yeah. All the cops are in a restaurant, and she's sitting in a corner reading a newspaper. We're like, we're not taking this call. It's Lois's turn. And the camera does the pan and zoom, slow motion, and then she moves it, and she pops her bubble. She's like, I'll go.
She's chewing gum. She's a tough cop.
She was like, I'll go. It's okay. And then all of a sudden, boom. Couldn't, bro. I'm sorry. It was hard to watch these main characters.
And then he gets fried. He gets shut down again. He gets shut down, and he really felt like a side character in his own movie, which he does.
Weird. He very felt like that. But anyway, I gave him a 1. You gave him a 1. Okay, main villain.
One. So this one is the worst as far as the villains. They've been, in my opinion, even 2, which I didn't love, the villains have been fairly strong in the franchise. Here, okay, check this out. In this one, the old guy's gone from the head of OCP. Now it's a guy that's played by Rip Torn, by the way, who, you know what? He's like an actor that's like a very distinct actor. I don't think he works in any old movie. He's great in like Men in Black as Zed. Like, I think that, that kind of role works for him. He's good in comedy. He's in Dodgeball, which, by the way, this is what I was going to say. This is a Dodgeball prequel because you have Rip Torn and also Stephen Root, who is one of the average Joes. He's the one who betrays them.
L for love.
I was like, this is Dodgeball. So Rip Torn, and he plays the CEO. That's his name, the CEO. He's unnamed. He doesn't have a name. Literally, there's a scene where the guy's towards the end, he's like, the CEO isn't going to like this. Who calls people, like, who refers to people as that? The CEO. It's like a wrestler. That's like a WWF wrestling name, the CEO coming to the ring. Like, get like IRS. Like, get out of here. So Rip Torn is horrible in this movie. Like, he's bad in this movie. I like him in some stuff. I don't like him in this. Beyond that, you have this guy who's like running this military group. They're like military police. They're not official cops, but they're going into like, Alex, this is the 3rd movie in a row where they're trying to build this stupid city, Delta City. They've been trying to kick people out of their houses for 3 movies. And this guy's like the leader. And he basically just like takes over. And then he's like, he wants to have all the cops help him. And the cops quit. They throw their badge on the floor. They're like, I'm not going to do this. And so he hires all the crackheads to fight instead. But like, they're uninteresting. They're not memorable. Like, bring back Red Foreman from the first movie. He was the best. Yeah, the freaking douchebag OCP guy. These guys, trash. 1.
So you said look, I agree. I mean, I gave it a 1 too. It's atrocious. They were not formidable. They were just not fun to even sit down and watch. Like, they weren't even funny. They were horrible. This movie's really bad in a lot of ways, and Villains is another one. You have robotic martial artists.
I forgot that when you punch them, they're like, the ninja cyborg guy. I forgot about that. He's ugly too, and I don't like him.
Horrible scene with that character.
He's like,
it was so stupid, doing jumps and stabbing, and like, that was dumb. You got the Nazi guy. I always call him the Nazi. He looked like a Nazi character, like the main dude. But you're right. Their purpose was to drive out all the poor people from their houses, but not even like throwing them out. And I'm like, okay, that's a cool storyline. It's not like it's a bad storyline. It's a pretty interesting storyline, but it just told so wacky and off base. Like, I just felt so off. Like, the characters did not even work well. The guy from Dodgeball betrayed the black lady from the night. What was it, freaking from Tales from the Crypt? Demon Knight.
Yeah, Demon Knight. She is that. I forgot.
Yeah. She was like one of the head rebels, and she goes, "You gotta stand your
ground. The resistance."
Yeah, you can't leave your houses and all this BS. And I'm like, oh my God, this movie's so stupid. So like, for me, I just felt like I couldn't be invested in this movie because like, even the hero sucked and the villain sucked. And you can't even have that. I mean, the good thing is that it had Ed 209. I was like, that looked pretty cool. But then there's certain things about the movie that just irked me. We'll talk about that. But yeah, I agree. I gave it a 1. Okay, let's get to action scenes.
All right. I gave this a 2. For me, a 1, it's like, you got to have very minimal and it has to be bad. You know what I mean? Like, 1, I feel like it's a special place. This has a lot of action in it. So, I'm going to give it a 2 though, because it's like, it's fairly repetitive. I hate you're right, the ninja cyborg guy, silly, but there's one major thing that holds it back, and that this movie's PG-13, and the first 2 are so bloody, like there's blood squibs everywhere, and there's gore, and there's brains, and there's PG-13. Barely any, no hardcore violence. And then the one scene that made me so mad that I almost turned it off is when that guy comes out of the apartment and RoboCop is like, shoots his gun, and it's going like, bloop, 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 in the air.
Yeah.
He's like shooting it in the air, and it's like floating. And I was like, I'm going to turn this off because I can't watch this anymore. So even if I was considering like a soft 3 just for the amount, that I said 2, but there is a lot. I will say that if you're just here for action, PG-13 action, I feel like you'll get enough but it's not very exciting. The jetpack scene is hilarious. Some of it's shot well. Like I don't think most of it looks terrible, but it's just so we're coming off of movies where like people are getting like, just really destroyed, and this is like a kids movie for some reason. So I don't know. I gave it a 2.
I gave it a 1. I know it has tons of action, but I'm sorry, dude. It is atrocious. It is horrible. It's not memorable. I mean, if you go, hey, dude, name me 5 scenes from the movie that's action, I'll be like, I can't tell you even one. Like, that's the thing. Like, the jetpack scene was so horrible. Like, even horrible at the end when he's flying. And I was just like, this is not good. Like, this is bad. Then it felt very Police Academy 1 or 2 when they're fighting in the streets against the citizens on patrol. I think it was that one. But like, that's what it felt like. I was just like, this is so bad. I miss the squibs. RoboCop was known for the squibs. When they're getting shot, they're like, bah, 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 bah. You just see like this ridiculous amount of blood coming out the body. And I loved it. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. I didn't like it here. That was stupid. The girl that could literally plug in a computer and tell Ed 209 to become a puppy. I said, nope, that deducted mad points. I said, there's no freaking way. This girl's gonna, first of all, how does she know how to operate this thing? And I knew it when they foreshadow her house and you saw the body parts of RoboCop and Ed 209 open and she's tapping away on this stupid keyboard. And I said, don't tell me she's gonna reprogram RoboCop.
She's doing like calculus or something.
Yeah. And I was just like, nope. Yeah. Like, that scene was dumb. Them raiding, that was dumb. Lois dying deducted more points because I was like, this is so stupid. Another foreshadow. Lois, do you need a bulletproof vest? Nah, I'm going out with my partner. And
remember when
RoboCop
shot. Gets his arm chopped off, but he magically can like fit that gun into it?
Yeah.
He just like plugs it in like a Lego.
Yeah, he goes, pew, pew.
Yeah, he's like, oh shoot, no arm. I'm a Lego man now.
It's so ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I just felt like everything was so convenient for RoboCop. It was like, well, now you don't need to recharge because your backpack could do it. Oh, later in the movie, he's going to need it. Like, exactly. It felt very 007. You know how when you watch a 007 movie and Q was like, well, here's her watch that's X-ray. Well, look at this. 2 scenes later, he uses the watch because he had to infiltrate the thing so he can read. So, I don't know. I just felt like there's a lot of scenes here that's just whack. But my favorite scene, I mean, and not favorite, I'm just saying in terms of stupidity. My favorite scene is at the end when he turns on the jetpack and he fires the dude's leg and then he grabs the girl and miraculously the girl's hanging on back of him. He's flying out the OCP.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a nuclear weapon that blew up. It wasn't no bomb, bro. That shit was like an atomic weapon. That shit said boom. I was like, what? This dude ignited a nuclear device in Detroit. I was like, that's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, I gave it a 1. I couldn't. I mean, you're right. It did have action. It did. Even when RoboCop drove off the damn parking lot to land right next to Lois and then he comes out and he's shooting and he's like, I couldn't, bro. I couldn't. I was like, this is so atrocious. It's so bad. And then you got the, what was it called? The punk gang, the Nukem gang.
They got their stupid little drawing on the wall. I don't even remember.
The splatter gang.
The splatter punks.
The splatter punks.
Yeah, splatter punks. That's what it was. The splatter gang. Oh, yeah, splatter punks.
She was horrible. All right. 1 for me, 2 for you. All right, storyline.
All right. Okay. I agree with you 1,000,000%. I was waiting for this part. The freaking, you know me with kids in movies. Like sometimes I like a kid actor in a movie. It's fine. I hate this kid in this movie. Oh, I gave the storyline a 1, by the way. I gave it a 1. Okay. First of all, maybe I feel bad. And I don't know. I thought it was a boy most of the time. I didn't even know it was a girl. I didn't know it was a girl. Matter of fact, I watched the entire movie thinking it was a boy. And when I got to the special features, and he's like, the little girl. I'm like, the little girl. What little girl? And then they show a picture and I'm like, oh shoot, that was a girl. It just looked like a boy with long hair to me. And whatever. It's a little kid, so I don't think it really matters that much. But I thought it was a boy. Holy crap. I don't know where to start. Look, the movie opens in the apartment. You're right. She's doing calculus. She's like 8. And I'm like, oh, here we go. This is gonna be something. And then the dad comes over and is like, hey, this is our home. Go to sleep. boom, wrecking ball just smashing into the room, almost kills her. And then they go outside. It's a war zone. There's helicopters. I'm like, what is going on already? Then they get separated, which, by the way, what happened to the parents? Where did they go? What did this little kid joins a gang? Because she knows how to be a hacker. She does homework, so she knows how to be a hacker. You just type in act like a puppy, and all of a sudden Ed 209 acts like a puppy. Whatever. You're right. It's so stupid. And then at the end, I'm thinking like, her parents are going to like come off a bus or something and be like, we're alive. Nope. Never. This kid is now just a little homeless kid that's going to live with the people. I don't know. Hated it. On top of that, I started to wonder like, okay, I understand OCP is based out of Detroit or whatever. But at what point does a company who's done all the stuff they do not have some sort of national backlash or national, like someone stepping in and be like, y'all can't just kill everyone in the streets. You know what I mean? There's no talk of OCP being anywhere but Detroit. They're like the biggest in Detroit. But like, what about some federal laws that they got to be breaking? And I understand maybe I'm asking too much because this is just like a silly goose, sci-fi movie. But it started to make me mad.
You need like, global.
These guys just run around doing whatever. No one ever interferes. They're shooting people in the street. Like if a cop shoots someone in the street now in real life, it's like national media news.
Yeah.
You're telling me these people are walking through with an army blowing up people's houses and they're not like, you know what? We got to step in and this company can't. At one point, the guy's like, our stock is dropping. It's like, oh my God. It is horrible. I hate it. I really didn't like it at all.
I hated it the first 5 minutes of the movie. I was like, this is a piece of shit. Like, I was like, you could tell it was a piece of shit. I was like, I can't believe I brought this movie. And you know what it is? I have this I have this bad OCD problem. Like, if a movie has like 8 movies, I gotta buy all 8 movies just to have it in my collection. But I gotta stop doing it because, man, this is a really bad movie. 2, 2 is bad, but it's not this bad. And
no.
It's not as bad.
It's significantly worse.
Yeah. Yes. 3 is really bad. My boy RoboCop has a little girl on his lap and he's stroking her hair. I had to check out. I was like, bro, this is a fucking
weird.
Yeah, this is really bad. And that's when he found out that the daughter's parents died. Because he went through he scanned through everything and was like, they were in this detention and it says deceased. And I was like, oh God. And then he's just there stroking. And I was just like, bro, horrible. You're absolutely right. Robert Thorne's character sucked. The black guy from the original 2 movies, he was horrible. He was telling the good cop, the black good cop, I forgot his name.
The chief?
Yeah, he was telling him off, and my man was like, oh, hell no. He threw the damn pin.
You're going to lose your pension. Okay, whatever.
Like, I just felt like the movie was the necessity of storyline was just, from what you said, because you saw the background story and everything, it feels like thrown on a wall and said, all right, we're going to do another RoboCop movie. It just felt so weird and horrible, and it felt very low budget, like sci-fi movie. Yeah. It felt like a sci-fi special event movie of the year. Because honestly, it just does not felt like, I will say this though, the music, there's something about the music.
They brought back the original score.
They did bring it back, but I don't know, because this movie is a piece of shit, and I'm telling you guys, it's a piece of shit. But when the music kicks in, I started to get a little bit, I was like, okay. Like the scene where Lois, like he's getting rebooted again, and then it plays Lois's memory, and she's like tweaking his jetpack, and she goes, you gotta get him, Murphy, at all costs. And all of a sudden he rips off and you hear and he grabs his helmet, he grabs his Captain Hook arm.
Robo-Hook.
His Robo-Hook. He grabs it, and then he's just like, I gotta finish a promise. And then the music's and I was like, yo, this shit is actually pretty cool. But other than that, like, the music is what elevated this shit movie, but the movie is really horrible from beginning to end. You're absolutely right. It felt very comical throughout everything. Even when, I thought this was funny, even when my man went into the strip hotel room and the bad guy is there. He goes, "No one's gonna find me here." And RoboCop shoots through the door.
Yes,
and then he throws himself out the window.
Oh my gosh!
The 2-story building. Yes. Oh, I couldn't stop laughing. I said, "This is so
This movie is kind of funny.
It's fun. No, it's
but not on purpose.
No, this is a movie that you ask your friends, like, like, let's say you're coming over, and I'll be like, "Yo, guys, grab a box of beers and let's order pizza and let's have a good time laughing." RoboCop 3 is that movie that you put on with your friends because you will be laughing throughout the damn movie. I think so.
Yes,
but yeah, that's a 1 for me. Okay, overall.
I hate to do it. I don't hate to do it. I gave it a 1. I changed my mind. I like to do it. Yeah, the best part of this movie was the score. I'm glad they brought that back. It adds, it is a great theme. Underrated. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the RoboCop theme is one of the most underrated movie themes because it doesn't get talked about much. Even though the original is a classic, that's usually not talked about that much. And it's probably because like a super well-known composer didn't come up with it. No. But if this was like freaking John Williams or Hans Zimmer or I don't know who's Jerry Goldsmith that came up with it, people be like, "Oh, it's one of the best," but it's like not. It's just some guy. I don't even remember who did it, but because of that, I don't think it gets the love. That's the best part of this movie. Everything else is very bad. The behind the scenes thing that I liked that I was mentioning, when the director was talking about the film, and he made one good point that I agree with, but basically he said they wanted to shoot for a PG-13. And he knew that was going to be, like the first 2 are R. He was talking about how much he loves RoboCop 1, how like kind of hard it was to be faithful while being a PG-13 movie. And basically that they had not a mandate, but they had an idea of like, well, all these kids saw RoboCop 1 on TV, and now they had toys, and now they had video games, and they had comic books, and like they had these things that children were consuming, but this is not a children's movie, right? Like the first 2. They hired him because of Monster Squad and Night of the Creeps. I believe Night of the Creeps is a PG movie. I don't think it's rated R. And they hired him because he had an ability to make like edgy PG-13, which, and here's where I agree with him. He's like, in 1990 or whenever this was, he's like, that wasn't a thing. And now that is like very popular, which is true. Like think of a movie like Megan or like a lot of horror that goes for that. Five Nights at Freddy's made like freaking $400 million. The edgy PG-13 is now a thing. And in a way, I agree with him, with Fred Decker, the director, where he was a little ahead of the curve. The problem is that this is a horrible movie for, to do it with. This should not have been the test for it, right? Night of the Creeps, Monster Squad, they fit the bill. Whereas here, this needed to be R-rated. He's like, I had this kid character. I didn't view it as this was going to be for kids to watch, but that's ultimately how it ended up being. You're following around a little girl. She's really the main character, and RoboCop's just there, like, as an action figure. So a very horrible movie. I know why I've never seen it, and I already sold it. I put it on Mercari. It sold in like 5 minutes. So I already got it shipped out. Never watching this again. Enjoy it. Glenn or whoever bought it. I don't know. It wasn't Glenn. Whoever got it.
It was the director.
Yeah. So that's going to be a 1 from me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 1 for me too. The composer of RoboCop, I think I'm going to butcher this because I think it's like German. Basil Polidorus.
Okay. Like who's that? And he might have done other stuff, but I'm just saying he's not like the known composers of the time.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it was songs and lyrics was by him in the city of Prague for the Philharmonic Orchestra.
He did the music for RoboCop 3 as well. So they didn't just bring back his theme, he actually also did the score.
Oh, so there you go. They brought back the original
and it's the best part of the movie, honestly.
It is the best part of the movie, but I will say the overall movie stinks. I will be getting rid of this movie also. I got to learn to put this stuff. I think I'm going to put 2 and 3 up because I already got part 2 and 3.
I sold 2 instantly as well. And someone bought it. Yeah, they already have it.
I'll be getting rid of this stuff too. I'm never going to watch these movies. It's really bad. Unfortunately, it would be cool if it was a really good movie, but unfortunately, it just stinks. But anyway, with that said, Nate, what is your total points?
6. 6 out of 25. Very bad. Very hate it. By the way, I looked up that guy because you said his name. He also did the music for the greatest movie of all time, Tintorera, the Tiger Shark. One of the best. He also did Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer. Red Dawn, RoboCop, Free Willy, Quickly Down Under, The Hunt for Red October. So he's done some movies. He's done some movies. I just didn't know him by name.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like you're right. He's not like a big type. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even know John Williams did the Harry Potter score.
See,
only the first one. But because I mean, I know him for Jaws. I know him for Star Wars. And then when we walked through the whole damn Universal, I'm like, damn, this thing is pretty. Who did this song? And I looked it up. I was like, John Williams. Oh, like, holy shit, this dude did another big one. Yeah,
the best of all time.
But then you have like what you have, Danny Elfman, right? With the
Danny Elfman, amazing, who did the music for Epic Universe Monsters Land. By the way, the score that plays in it's original music by Danny Elfman in that little land.
Nice. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. But anyway, with that said, my point was 5. I give it a 5. It's the worst score that you can give a movie.
The worst score possible on our show.
Yeah, it's the worst of worst. But all right, Nate, what's coming up next on the podcast?
Yeah, not this. Thank God. Okay, coming up, we will have a continuing on with our comic book movies that do not have sequels, one-offs. We have Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and then we will wrap up this RoboCop franchise with the remake from 2013, something like that, with Joel Kinnaman. I remember he plays RoboCop. You got Samuel Jackson was in that.
Michael Keaton. Yeah, Michael Keaton was the bad guy. You got Gary Oldman. The doctor. Yeah.
Yes, and I forget the one who plays the wife. It's Abby Cornish. Abby Cornish. She was in Sucker Punch. She plays the wife. So yes, we will be doing the remake, a movie I remember liking, but I haven't seen it in like 10 years. So we'll see.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in a while either. It's been a while. So with that said, guys, you guys want to follow us at our social media accounts? Please follow Nate over on Instagram at Netflix Reviews. Check out the podcast with him and his friends called Netflix Movie Reviews. Anything action movie guys, head over to youtube.com/action movie guys. Subscribe, leave the comments there. Then of course you can take us on the go with the Action Movie Guys podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Again, I'm your host, Alex Figueroa. My co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
Be awesome to each other and geek out.